What's up, everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 7 of Director's Spotlight. Steven Spielberg. Of course, we are going through the entire filmography of Steven Spielberg, 34 movies as we speak, and we are up to his 7th film, a little movie from 1982 called E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. That is the full title. People just call it E.T. That's kind of how it's known as. I am your host, Nate. I am joined by my co-host, Alex.
Hello.
And my other co-host, Evan.
Hello.
And you already know the drill. We are going to be going through this movie. It's old. There will be spoilers, I guess. If you've never seen it, we're going to talk in depth about our thoughts on the movie. If we liked it, if we hated it. At the end, we'll give you a score. And then that's pretty much it. It's same show as it's been, and it's going to continue to be. Now, before I get into my fun facts, we're going to go to the question of the week, which is what I ask Evan. Evan, have you seen E.T. more times or less times than Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Less times.
Less?
Less.
Wow. So Close Encounters more than E.T. All right.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. I love that's my favorite question every time. I always wonder how that ranks. So that one's still pretty much up there. So Raiders was more.
Yes.
This one and Jaws less.
I had to think about last time I watched it was from the Blu-ray release, that 20th.
Yeah.
Was it the 20th Blu? And I only watched the special edition where Steven Spielberg edited out all the guns. Do you remember that?
Oh, and they had walkie-talkies and stuff.
Walkie-talkies and stuff. Yeah, that was literally last time I watched the movie.
Oh, okay. So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
And Alex, last time you watched E.T.? No, I won't spoil it. Last time you watched E.T.?
I can't even. This honestly,
1994.
I'm gonna be honest. I think as a kid,
so it's been like 30 years.
I'm 42, so
it's been like 35 years since you've.
It could be, maybe even, it could be. I don't. Man, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a funny.
I mean, this is gonna now with that information. See. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything for the audience at home. I somewhat know your thoughts on the movie, but not really, apparently, because if you haven't seen this since you were a kid, I actually have no idea what you think of it as an adult. So I'm interested.
Well, when I first saw it, I did not like this movie growing up.
Right.
So like the first time I saw it, I hated it. Like I just did not like it. My wife laughed because even when I was watching it now, I was telling her, and she was like, "You really hate?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like. My brothers all loved it. I was just like, this is stupid. But
Alex,
let's find out.
I hate this movie. Stupid. All right, well, we're going to see how grown up Alex thinks. Now, before we do, let's get into our fun facts. I have a couple of funny ones this time. Let's get to some numbers. Of course, the movie came out in 1982. This is crazy, guys. $10.5 million budget. So lower than Jaws, lower than Close Encounters, lower than 1941, lower than Raiders. Made $797.3 million.
Paramount passed on it, said it was a lame story.
Yeah, so that's part of my fun facts. Wait till you guys hear this. There's 70 times the budget that it made back. This has a 99% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. That means there's one person out there who just is like, no. Might have been Alex. I don't know. And it has a 72% audience score. Academy Awards, 9 nominations. Oof. Again, including Best Picture and Best Director. So Spielberg's third Best Director nomination. Did not win. This was nominated for Best Picture. Did not win. It did win 4 Academy Awards, including John Williams' iconic and memorable score. Did win for Best Score at the Academy Awards. All right. Get to the fun facts. Because these are these are idiotic and the rest of them are normal. And the first one's kind of funny. So the majority of the voice work for E.T. was performed by Pat Welsh. Now I'm talking about the voice of E.T., of course. Pat Welsh. She smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, which gave her voice a quality that sound effects creator Ben Burt really enjoyed. She spent 9.5 hours recording her part and was paid $380 for her services. So she made $400 in 1981 or whenever she recorded this. Probably worth more than it is now. And she sounds like this, whatever, because that's how E.T. kind of sounds.
Let me tell you something.
He sounded like Roz.
Let me tell you something. You mean to tell me they paid her $380 to do the ET voice without even telling her that she's going to get $380 plus cancer for the pack of cigarettes.
That was her bonus.
That was a bonus death.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think too, like $10 million budget. Okay. This was not a huge budget movie. And honestly, like, how much dialogue does ET have? Not a ton. So, they're like, and they don't know if there's going to be a hit. $380. It turns out, I mean, maybe she got a couple of dollars on the back end. Now, also, Mr. Ben Burt, he was, I guess, the audio guy here. He recorded 16 other people and various animals to create E.T.'s total voice, including all the sounds. These included Steven Spielberg himself, actress Deborah Winger, his sleeping wife, who was sick with a cold, Ben Burt's wife, a burp from a University of Southern California film professor, raccoons, otters, and horses. So all of those were put together to create the sound of E.T. I'm guessing the yells, the little snorts and breathing. He does have he has a distinctive breathing style, which makes me think it's the sleeping wife that was sick with a cold. You know
or the actress smoking.
Okay, so E.T. premiered as the closing film of the Cannes Film Festival in 1982 and was released in the United States on June 11th. The film was a smash hit at the box office, surpassing Star Wars to become the highest grossing film of all time, a record it held for 11 years until Steven Spielberg beat it with 1993's Jurassic Park. So he had the highest grossing movie of all time until he had the next highest grossing movie of all time. Now, here's the funny ones. Evan, this is kind of goes to you. Columbia actually initially turned this movie down, saying Columbia, it would not be financially successful and calling it a wimpy Walt Disney movie. Universal ended up buying the rights from them for $1 million. However, Columbia in the deal also got 5% of the box office, which is a lot when it's nearly $800 million. President of Columbia said that it was their most successful movie of 1982. They didn't even make it. It made more than all of their other movies. So big whiff.
And their
Columbia.
Name wasn't even on it.
Correct. They didn't even get a credit or anything. Big whiff, though. They could have had 100% of the profits.
Did they have to get that 5% because they owned the script, or was it a Spielberg?
It was part of the deal.
You know?
It was part of the deal of them selling the script, selling the rights back to Universal. So Spielberg went to Sid Sheinberg, who he was, had a relationship with at Universal. He's like, "Look, buy this. We could do it." And he said, "Okay, I believe you." And it worked out for Universal. It kind of worked out for Columbia, but it could have worked out better for them. Also, here's another
question.
Go ahead.
A question before you go. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's kind of weird because if he made Jaws, Raiders, right? He made Close Encounters, and those are 3 big movies in the early years. For Columbia to go, nah, we're going to pass on this because the story is not as good. Isn't that kind of like weird to you guys that they're just going no to this guy, knowing his track record that so far every movie that he's doing is making blockbuster hits?
And working with him on Close Encounters. That was Columbia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They already knew he could do it. Evan, what do you think?
I was wondering, did we have a change of leadership in Columbia? Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes more people got in there and they really didn't work with Spielberg, and they were like going, or were they hedging their bets going, dude, this sounds bad and you can't have this good of a track record. You're about to fail no matter what.
Alex, my thought on your question would be, because it's more of a family movie and the last time they worked with him was Close Encounters, I wouldn't call it a family movie. I mean, it's not like R, but it's more adult, for the most part. It kind of the ideas. Yes, they did.
Evan is right.
Oh.
The original Frank Price became president in March of 1979 and served until he was replaced by Guy McElring, whatever, in July of 1982.
Oh.
So he was responsible for many of the studio's highest grossing films during his tenure. Which is weird because...
So he's the one who turned it down, though.
He's the one that turned it down, but I think after that, he started to do all the like Ghostbusters came out in 1984, I believe, was another big one for Columbia Pictures.
Well, no, look at it this way. From what you just said, he wouldn't have done Ghostbusters. The McElring guy would have done it. You said 82.
The guy Elring.
Right.
Yeah,
so he's not the one who turned it down. It's the other guy. You said.
No, Frank Price.
Yes, and if he took over in 79, that means he did not work with Spielberg on Close Encounters.
No.
Or he was not in charge. Because Close Encounters was before 79.
Yep, it says Frank Price was the president of Columbia Pictures at the beginning of the 1980s, a role he resumed in March of 1979 and held until he was replaced by Guy in July of 1982. And then later became
E.T. was successful.
Yeah.
He was like, they said, you gotta go, you idiot.
Yeah.
I know you made us a lot of money, but we lost a lot of money.
Dawn Steele later became the first woman to lead a major Hollywood studio when she was appointed president of Columbia Pictures in 1987. Interesting. So the first lady was Columbia Pictures.
All right, I got it right here. The person who turned it down was
longer than
here it is. Marvin. So the person's name is Marvin Antonowski. He was the head of Columbia Pictures marketing and research development.
Oh, so he wasn't even the president.
No, he concluded that it had limited commercial potential, believing it would only appeal to children. Then John Veitch, president of Columbia's worldwide productions, also felt that the script was not good or scary enough to be financially viable. So on that advice, Frank Price, already funneled $1 million into the production, said, never mind. We want out. And it was a blunder.
And then he found out and he said, get me those guys in my office right now.
Those guys probably got fired.
Wasn't this the movie with the candy? The debacle with the candy?
Here's the other one. This is another fumble, a big money fumble. Mars Incorporated, who of course is the creator of many candies, refused to allow M&Ms to be used in the film, believing that E.T. would frighten children. So the Hershey Company was asked if they could use Reese's Pieces, and they agreed. The product placement resulted in a large increase in Reese's Pieces sales. So it could have been M&Ms. Columbia Pictures and Mars Incorporated, whoever was in charge, they'd be taken out back and whipped.
And it's so stupid, right? Because it's an alien movie. Wouldn't you have Mars bars, like something fake, but under the Mars brand you could have did, or Milky Way? That is so. I mean, I love Reese's Pieces. I don't know about you guys, but I love Reese's Pieces. Those are my joints. But
M&M's is like
M&M's are good, but I just love the peanut butter.
They're more iconic, but Reese's Pieces. Look,
so did they really digitally go over it? Is that true back then, or did they shoot? Because I always hear two things: that they went back, they digitally removed the M&Ms and painted over it.
Well, I didn't see anything about that. I think
in the movie it was yellow and red.
Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, in the movie
he had a bag of Reese's Pieces.
Yeah,
well, they reshot the bag, but I heard in some scenes that they went in, they didn't go back and reshoot. Honestly,
there's no the scenes that I remember from, because I watched it today. There's the scenes that he's dropping them in this yellow and orange, which is the Reese's, and then when the guy is touching it. When the guy's touching
I remember them always being that. I don't know if they reshot it.
No. Like before it was released, I heard someone went in and painted them on the film or did them like different on a couple of the shots. I have no clue if it's real or not.
It sounds like a rumor. It sounds like we're going to chalk that one up as rumor. But it could be. I don't know. Either way, you have Columbia who turned it down because it wasn't scary enough. And you had Mars who didn't agree because they thought it'd be too scary. And they were both wrong. Big money fails.
Well, I looked it up here. It says, no, the candy in the movie was actually Reese's Pieces to lure the alien out of the woods. It said it's a Hollywood lore that they went back and they painted over the candy.
Okay.
There you go.
Mythbusters.
Myth busted.
All right. Okay, so there's some fun facts. There's some fun facts for E.T. I didn't find anything else too much interesting when I was going through. I thought those were funny. I like that they used 1 million different things and a horse to make his voice, and a lady who smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And I like when studios mess up. I do. I like when they're like, no, this movie's not going to be good, especially after this dude just had like 4 out of 5 movies make insane amount of money.
Dumb. Yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Said, this is not scary enough. Kids in 1982 would probably disagree. I'm pretty sure this scared kids when they were little. I was scared at the beginning of this movie. So
my wife was scared when E.T. screamed when they first met, and he went. Yeah, she said it freaked her out. Yeah, she said it freaked her out.
Even the part where he comes out of the shed and he's waddling, scary. All right, let's get into it now.
Let's do it.
I'm going to go first this time because I went last time. So I'm going to go first with my thoughts on E.T. Now, I will tell you both.
Okay.
This movie, I did not grow up watching this movie. I think I mentioned on a prior episode, like one of the first ones I remember really watching as a kid growing up was like Hook. And then from then on, those were, because I more grew up in the 90s than the 80s. So there's a lot of 80s movies I had to go back and watch the older I got. So I did see this when I was young, but it was not like, I did not own it on VHS. It's not a tape that I watched. But I did see it as a kid, and being that I do live in Florida, the E.T. Adventure ride at Universal Studios, I have been on that thing like, it's almost, I know it as like the movie to me. It's pretty much all one big thing. When I watch this movie, my mind instantly, I'm sitting on that ride at Universal Studios because it's just where I grew up. It's like people who grew up at Disney, and there's certain things that are just tied. So I do have a lot of nostalgia for this movie as a whole. Even though I did not grow up necessarily watching the movie a lot, I have seen it a lot as an adult. I actually saw this in the theater a couple years ago when they did the IMAX re-release in 2022. I did go to see it in IMAX. I love this movie. I do. I don't think it's the best Steven Spielberg movie. I do think it's very good. I think it's a very good movie. There are parts that work a lot better for me than other parts. So we'll start with the positives. You guys know me at this point, Evan, you're finding out more. Alex, you really know I'm not the biggest fan of kid actors in general. I like the ones in this movie. I do. I think Henry Thomas as Elliot is really good. I think Drew Barrymore is adorable as Gertie, like one of the cutest little kids around. And they seem like real kids, which I think is hard in movies sometimes because kids, especially kid actors, they are acting, and it's to me, it never seems like they're real children, right? It seems like they're kids playing kids. Whereas here, it just seemed like these were kids. The scene, like even early when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons and he wants to play and the brother's like, that's real. Dude, that's real. My older cousins would do that crap to me all the time. Like, I want to play. Like, all right, if you do this and go get us all these snacks. And I go get the snacks and I still can't play. They made Elliot go get the pizza. They weren't going to let him play. Everyone knows they weren't going to let him play. So I think they're actually really good. I like the kids in this movie. I think Dee Wallace, I love Dee Wallace. I feel like she's one of the best like 70s, 80s actresses. I love that she's in so many genre movies from like Cujo and The Howling and this and just sci-fi horror. Dee Wallace is great in this movie as their mom. And I think that works. I like the storyline overall, the whole kind of friendship between Elliot, because you could tell he got an older brother. His parents are going through a divorce, obviously. And, that was a big part of the story that Spielberg wanted to tell because his parents, had gotten a divorce when he was younger. And he was kind of tapping into that. Even though he didn't write the script, I'm sure whoever, with the script screenwriters, I forget her name, a woman wrote it, but I'm sure he had a lot of input on it and the story he wanted to tell. So I think all that works. I love the score. I think the music in this movie is so good. I think it fits the movie. And the part where it swells, like that, it's like the violin right before it gets to like the big, it's fantastic. Well-deserved Oscar win. I like the atmosphere. It's not scary, but like we mentioned, I think if you would have saw this as a kid in the 80s, I could see it being a little scary, like younger kids. I'm talking, 10 and under. Could probably be like, oh, this is kind of a little bit scary to me. And I like that. I think it's just scary enough where, especially in the beginning, and it's kind of sad too towards the end, like when E.T.'s dying and all this stuff. Like it hits on a lot of emotional things for a family movie. And I think it's mostly successful. What doesn't work for me, I don't like the second half as much as I like the first half of the movie. Like I love everything up until the freaking scientist guys show up at the house and E.T. starts dying. I think all that stuff looks cool. Like I think it looks cool, and I like the escape at the end on the bikes. But there's about 35 to 40 minutes there where I'm like, it's way less interesting than him sort of like the fish out of water type thing, right? When they go trick-or-treating, like that's a funny scene. When he's in the house getting drunk and Elliot's also drunk because they have that link together and he's freeing the frogs and he's kissing. They're like, I love all of that stuff. I think the first half of the movie works way better than the second half. And this is now becoming a trope that I'm with these Spielberg movies. Not all of them, because I think Raiders works all the way through. There's no problem. But Jaws, Close Encounters, this one, they very much feel like two halves. You know what I mean? Rather than like a 3-act story. It feels like half one, half two, and then it ends. That being said, again, I don't think I'm biased because I think it's a well done movie, but I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. Growing up, like I said, that ride. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to touch on it. That ride at Universal Studios, the only original ride from when the park opened is E.T. It's old now, and I go on it every time I go. It's a must. It just brings back a lot of memories of like when I was a kid going to the theme parks and stuff. So I do love this movie. I think it is very good. Not my favorite Spielberg movie, and definitely where it will rank, I don't know, but I do think it is a very good movie and I enjoy it. Okay, Evan, you're going to get to go second this time. What did you think?
To go second. So, I grew up with this movie. This was we owned it on VHS. This was a family pick often for our family, and I hated it as a kid. So, I was scared to death from this movie. There are two movies that traumatized me. That is The Never-Ending Story and freaking E.T. Wow. I could watch Jaws. I had a little bit of but I'm watching The Godfather, but I'm deathly afraid of E.T. It was never like my movie. It was my brother or my sister who we watched often. I also think I got E.T'd out growing up because E.T. ended up everywhere, like on lunch pals, on magazines, the intro for a whole bunch of movies. You're seeing the bike go over the moon. So E.T. was everywhere as a kid, and you just seen this ugly alien that is just everywhere. And so I don't have like the fondest memories of it. Now, I always think I should like it for a film buff that I am. I have tried to watch this movie many times. I have bought it on Blu-ray. I bought it on 4K. I have it on DVD and I have it on VHS. So it's a movie that I have always had. So I decided I'm going to watch it. It's been a couple of years. Like I said, I've never watched it on 4K. The one thing I would like to say, I finally, thank God, I don't know how I've always missed it. The very beginning with the cars, you know, with the scientists. Yeah. Didn't ever realize they were scientists until this time. I always thought, why are they going into the forest? Who are these people? Why are they doing this? Finally, the highlight of the key chain, the key, whatever on his belt. Yeah. And then you see the scientist at the next. I went, holy cow, it's the same guy. Never put it together all my time. So that was a very much of benefit for me. My family, I don't know if this plays into it. My family didn't get divorced. My family was together. Those feelings of the 80s were not part of my life. So I don't know if that plays into that because I never caught on to that. And growing up, that was not feelings. But I feel like it's very important because I also remember this was the movie when my friends got divorced. This was the movie my mom used to explain that. Because there wasn't many movies with divorced families in them. So I do remember that being a pivotal point because my friend's dad just left, just one. And my mom goes, do you remember the E.T. family? Their dad just left. And I went, oh, okay. So that helped. Yeah. So I think I understand when people say for people growing up, it was a very important film to them. It's a well-made film. I can't, like, once again, we're dealing with Spielberg. We're not knocking it. I do think the story falls apart. Why are Elliot and E.T. connected? still don't understand how they get connected. What brings them to that? I don't know if I'm missing that. If you guys have a clue, I always feel that's a weak point. Like he brings stuff to life. So what bonds them that closely together? I feel that falls apart. And I feel we lose the emphasis of the family at the end. I do agree with Nate that we have the two parts. You have this little family adventure, but then it becomes an Elliot, E.T., but then it becomes just scientist adventure with the kids escaping. I think of Flight of the Navigator at that point. I feel like we get different movies at that point. So I think Drew Barrymore, I do agree. The kids are good in this. And I feel, I want to say, I'm not trusting my ET information anymore because I believe the Reese's Pieces thing. But I heard Spielberg try to keep the atmosphere friendly, like lighthearted, in that supposedly like he kept someone at the animatronics for ET because Drew Barrymore thought it was real. So he would
I feel like that sounds true.
Yeah.
I think that's real.
Yeah, they would interact with Drew Barrymore. Like they didn't pressure the kids to be adults in this setting. Like they're not doing adult jobs. He was trying to protect, hey, you're still kids. We're going to keep it fun. They got to play games. They got to still do like it wasn't where I feel like even when you hear about like old Disney films, like they're being treated like adults instead of like kids their age. So then they act like adults because they want to work them to death. But I just feel like they're having fun. Like I agree. When the kids are playing Dungeons and Dragons, I bet you that was a real game. Like they were actually probably playing for a while and then they just said their lines over it saying, okay, we're now filming, play your game. Yeah. But I don't love it. I watched it again. I watched it yesterday. I was still bored. I don't love it. I'm not connected with it, but it's not a bad film. Like how do I say that? Like if someone tells me I love this film, it meant so much, I go, okay, I could get that. If someone comes up to me, I loved Mac and Me. I don't know if you know that movie at the same time and they say, I love that movie. That meant so much. I'm going to go, you're crazy. Yes. I don't know who you're talking to, but this one I could go, I totally understand it. I get
That's
it.
That's like a horrible ripoff of E.T. Yes. Featuring McDonald's, Mac and Me. Yeah. Terrible movie.
I loved it as a kid. I used to watch it all the time as a kid, but I think I turned 10. I went, what's with this movie? Like, it was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, shout out to my cousin James, who comes in our live shows all the time. He liked that movie when we were kids, and he made me watch it, and I didn't even like it when I was a kid. I was like, this movie stinks. Don't show me this ever again. I saw it once and never again.
Yeah. But as a kid, I'd rather watch that than E.T., but I just never connected with it. But it's a well-made movie. Once again, we got the silhouettes. I thought it was amazing. I think it was like 20 minutes before we ever had dialogue of the beginning. Once again, another opening. I don't think we had dialogue because you have the aliens.
Yeah, you have the aliens walking around, and then you have the people coming to get them. But the scene with Elliot and them playing Dungeons and Dragons is maybe 10 minutes into the movie. So
is it 10? Okay, something. Yeah. But it's still a long intro with technically no dialogue in it. So it's a contending to him. I love how low the camera is. If you notice that the camera is low, adults are always tall. So I feel like we're getting the kids' perspective almost the whole movie. Even when scientists come into the film and there's no kids, I don't remember. I watched it, but I don't think the camera ever goes completely like high. It's like, I feel like we're always watching from the kids' perspective. And I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah. And to your point there, that's why, especially when the scientist people come into the home, it's like kind of scary. Like the way they're shot coming in, it's like slow motion. It's like they are the aliens. They're coming in here. If you're a kid and you see that, you're gonna be like, wait a second, this is unnerving. And so I think that Spielberg, you're right. It was very intentional the way everything is shot from that perspective of it is a kids movie. It's not made. I mean, adults obviously are going to watch it if they take their kids, but it is made for kids, for families. It's a family film. And so I think though, being such a good director, he does stuff like that where it's like, at least let me do something artistic with it as well. You know,
I think he respects the watchers. He respected the kids he respected the kid audience to understand what's going through, because he had to grow up as a young person, probably from a divorce. And he goes, these are real lives. This is the era. I remember Jim Henson. Henson? Is that Henson? How do you ever? He was saying that kids need to be scared. We can't protect our kids because life is scary. And that's why you get Labyrinth, and that's why you get Dark Crystal. So he's all into this. And that's why this whole 80s, like, you're allowed to be scared. Even Mr. Rogers says that these feelings are okay to have, and we need to learn how to experience it. So I think that's why us 80s kids, it's a whole different thing. We grew up, our movies were different. All of a sudden our adults are, I would say one thing about the 80s is the adults just are absent. Like, I would have never, I did stand out on our street waiting for the pizza to be delivered with the money. So never mind. Yeah, I was sent out there.
Now, quick question before I go to Alex to get his review. Do your kids watch this, or did you watch it with them, or have they seen it?
My son watched it with us. He was on the 8 at 8. Mm-hmm. He was not head over heels for it. Nope. Have not shown it to my daughter yet, but I will probably.
I wonder how it plays with modern day children, because
my nephews love it. Okay. My nephews love the movie, but that goes into his dad, my brother, loves the movie.
So he's showing him a lot.
So I don't love the movie, so I'm showing it because I think it's a rite of passage, right? Yeah. You got to watch E.T. But since I'm not excited about it, I don't know if that plays into it. But my brother loves the movie.
Well, my nephew will probably hate this. He thinks this movie's called O.T., not E.T. So he dressed up as Elliot one year for Halloween. He don't know this movie. He will probably hate it. Alex, I want to know that. So we have I like the movie. Evan respects it but doesn't love it. And you hated this when you were a kid, but you haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
So I want to know what adult Alex thinks about E.T.
So, all right. So it changed a little bit. I don't hate it. I just don't like it. So it moved. It moved the meter. It moved the meter. Now, I agree with both of you guys. I was bored throughout the movie. I don't know what it is. And my wife was like, it has to be a product. Like, if you watched it young and you liked it, then you will enjoy it more when you get older and stuff. If you didn't like it when you were younger, then I don't think it's gonna change. But we've seen movies that I didn't like and I changed tunes. This one, I couldn't. It was just, I don't know what was with the story. I couldn't back out. I couldn't get into the story. I think Drew Barrymore was adorable as a kid, but she annoyed the shit out of me throughout the movie, crying. I couldn't take it. Elliot was annoying. Like, so for me, I wasn't gravitated to the kids. I felt like they were just annoying. I was like, why am I? And I get the roles of the kids. I totally get it. I'll say it this way. They were casted very well. Like, when I was watching the movie, I was like, they were perfectly casted. But for myself, I was just like, I just can't. I was just sitting there like, I just didn't care for the kids. I totally agree with Evan. E.T. met this kid once, and all of a sudden, they're best friends, and he's crying for him, and he's like, ah. It's not like they've been together for years. He literally just met him one night, and they're already linked together. They're already going to Hollywood, trick-or-treating together. You know, he met the family, you know. So I agree with Evan. There was more. I need a little something there with the meeting of these two. Again, he is a kid. So from my point of view, what I'm thinking as an adult is, as a kid, they fall in love with everything. And
imagine if it was like a dog. He's gonna love him instantly, you know?
Yeah, so I was thinking of it that way. I was thinking of it like Elliot was getting picked on by his older brother. He's not loved much. His father's getting a divorce from his mom. And the mom was like, why don't you just call your dad? And he's like, well, he's in Mexico with his woman. And then she, you know, they threw it. And then the older brother's like, why don't you just keep a lid on it, man? Yeah. All right. So you could see that the relationship with Elliot and the family is not there because of the divorce. So I'm thinking E.T. bridges the gap for him to love again. That's what I'm thinking. Well, I don't know.
But how do they get connected telepathically or whatever?
It could be E.T. Right? It could just be E.T.'s
it's
power.
Him. They don't explain that. Yeah. That's true. But that's one of those suspension of disbelief. You just got to go with it. They are, and it is.
It just could be one of those things that he met him and they just got a link. These just go, okay, it is what
you remember the older brother says because the science is like, he thinks his thoughts. He's like, no, he feels what ET feels. He doesn't, mentally, they're not linked, but they have that. Yeah, the feeling. Yeah,
it's a weird thing. Like, for instance, I don't know if you guys know this thing. My wife believes in it. I don't. But now so when let's say you're really close with your wife and she's pregnant, you could feel the hormones. Like all of a sudden, like you'll start eating more. Like for myself, like
sorry.
No. It sounds
That's
weird.
The way you said it.
It sounds weird. Not through the hormones.
You got 4 kids, so you had 4 hormones.
No. Like for instance, like
you can smell it. It changes. It changes. You are processing the changes.
Yes. So like I started to eat more when she was pregnant for some reason. Like I was at sympathy pains or whatever the hell it was or whatever.
Yes,
but
cravings.
Or I would get, I totally get it. It's like, because sometimes she would get morning sickness and I was not feeling well. But you have that weird connection. But like I wasn't feeling no hormones.
We had the ET connection.
You guys had the ET, so that makes that you guys should be able to relate even more.
Yeah. It's something like that. I don't know, but it's a weird thing. But like with him, that's what I'm thinking. Like in terms of the mindset of Elliot, that's what I'm coming across. But I just feel like that.
But why wouldn't that affect the brother and sister? Because to my knowledge, they have about the same amount of time together. See, that's when I start.
No. Because he brought him candy and he was luring him to him. Like it was just, he was building a trust between ET and him. And then remember,
he pretends to be sick and he spends the day with it. Like he spent more time.
He's pretty much
like a couple hours.
But
no. But it's very
if it's an ability ET has. That doesn't mean he's gonna do it with everybody he meets. All of a sudden, like we're all gonna feel the same thing.
I just freaking maybe answered my question because at the very beginning, holy cow, just put it together. At the very beginning, all their hearts glow, so ET's
they can all feel each other
actually connected, and so he's passing that on to Elliot, who is becoming part of his family. There you go. I just answered my own question.
See? And he's using
now you got to raise it 1 point.
Yeah. And he was losing. Supposedly, he was losing his life force on Earth, and then he was using Elliot as to keep
that's why they
going.
Both got sick.
Yeah, that's how they were getting sick. But anyway, I just feel like there was more there that could have been whatever. But look, the storyline was good. It was good. I was entertained. As a movie, I was entertained. I was bored at times. And I was starting to get I totally get the second half was just like Close Encounters, Jaws.
Scientists show up. Everything starts being about science.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I got so annoyed because when they opened up the door, I'm like, are they in Mars? Because I saw this big astronaut going, and then all of a sudden, the other dude, and I'm like, is this like a Twilight Zone episode? Like they in Mars? Like the house is really in Mars or something? And my wife was like, "Oh no,
Back to the Future for that part."
Oh no, I thought
when he gets out of the car.
Oh, I thought it was like Twilight Zone. Because I was telling my wife, I was like, "Is this in Mars?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "Back then, that's their budget for scientists."
They just wore that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that scene was shot very well. When they cocooned the house with the plastic, I thought it was cool. It reminded me a little bit of Poltergeist, a little bit. With that stuff. But other than that, the mom thing was still a little bit of weird to me. It was still a little weird that she takes the kids away when I'm like, bro, she's been with the aliens for like 3 weeks or whatever. And now you want to take them away he's like, he's all white and crusty. He's like, alien.
That part's
I don't know. Yeah, it's I mean, there was some sad parts. I don't know. I just feel like the scientist part was kind of weird. To me, it was weird towards the end. I just was like, okay, the bike scene that they're floating. Look, I know it's
iconic.
80s. It's 80s. I know. I laughed. My wife was like, this is such a beautiful moment. I was like, this is stupid.
We should have got Angelina on the show.
Should have had my wife. Because she was like, this is amazing. And I'm thinking with Charlie in a chocolate factory with the elevator that goes out.
Oh my God.
Because there's this scene that he's riding the bike and you could totally see his green screen.
And they're making those faces like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, look at me. The other guy has his eye closed. He's like, dude.
But it's such an iconic moment.
No, it's a very iconic. It's very iconic.
Now. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think with certain parts of these movies, like I think of Titanic, I'm the King of the World.
Yeah.
It is so ingrained in our pop culture. No one gets to experience that at all. It always pulls you out of the film because of our culture. E.T. flying and doing the moon because of us and seeing that intro in the movie and knowing that, I don't think you could ever... For me, it's hard to enjoy that. Like, there it is. It's
but everywhere. That's not the part. That's not the part that's funny. What's funny is the leading up to that.
The house, like when it's still sunny out.
Yes, when it's 5 of them and they're riding and they're like, ooh.
When they first take off and the guys with the guns are like,
yeah, and they're just like, you can see how. I mean, again, I thought the iconic scenes were there.
Yes.
With that scene that you had, I was like, okay, Elliot and him for the first time floating. Yes.
Plus the music.
With the music it kicks in. Yeah. Oh, yes. The part with the friends saving E.T. and then they gliding all of them, I said, nope. I said, the first time you got me, Steven, but not the second time, because it just looks so cheesier. But again, I know a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, but it's product. I get it. But it does not hold up now. Yeah. Like, those scenes don't. The impact, yes. I totally get it. But look, all in all, it's a solid film. But for myself, I just feel like it's very overrated. For me, I just think it's a very overrated movie. But I could totally see if you're like my age, you're going to love it. If you saw it, you're like, oh, this is so beautiful. I don't think this is the strongest movie from the ones that we've seen. I think Raiders is the best one so far, and Jaws. Out of those two, I think those two are the strongest ones. But E.T., I can say, does come close with Duel.
E.T. is on that, as far as I think in pop culture, it's on that level. I would not put those over this as far as just being well known, being beloved. Quality also would not put it below. However, fans, like just like cinematic, like what people like. Yeah, this is a kid's movie. Mostly, one thing you said that your wife said, and I agree with her. I do think if you really enjoyed the movie as a kid, like if you saw this in 1982 and you were a kid, you're more inclined to still enjoy it a lot as an adult. Yeah. Whereas if you didn't like it then, I don't see how you're going to grow up and now like this kid's movie that you didn't like as a kid. In your case, I could see what you did, which is like you kind of gained a new respect for it. Like, oh, you know what? This is a well-made movie. There's things now that I've seen, thousands of movies, I might like more. But to like love it, I agree with her. Like that makes a lot of sense. I think that's how it is with a lot of movies that you see when you're a kid. If you loved it then, you're more inclined to love it now. Now it might change. You might be like, you know what? I was a dumb kid because this movie sucks. But it's usually not the other way around unless it's an adult movie. Yes. Like I could see you watching like a scary movie when you were a kid and you're like, I don't like this. And now as an adult, you watching, you're like, oh, you know what? I was a kid. But kids movies, it's pretty rare to like not like a kid's movie as a kid and like that same movie as an adult. I'm not saying it never happens.
No, but you're absolutely right, because there's a lot of kid movies that you watch that doesn't hold up anymore. You're like, wow, this is horrible. But
that happens more often.
Yes. And you go, this is so bad. I can't, go. Perfect example. And I don't want to keep this long, but for example, we wanted to see Thundercats again, the cartoon. Because I remember loving it. I'm like, yo, this Thundercats is... We put on the first episode. I was like, oh, damn, this is not that good. And I didn't finish it. Yeah. But I remembered it. I was like, man, this cartoon, Thundercats used to be dope when you used to watch it. But then I just like, oof, this is not good. Certain cartoons will still hold up test of time. I think Turtles is one of those. Ninja Turtles from the 80s still holds up.
Love it.
But still holds up. The real Ghostbusters cartoon still holds up, and it's very darker. I watched it as an adult and I said, man, this is a dark ass cartoon for what I used to watch. But you're right. Movies that we used to love that are kid movies, no longer.
It's like, and Evan, I want to get your take on it, but like, I feel like if you loved it as a kid, it could go either way. But if you hated it as a kid and it's a kid's movie specifically, chances are you're not going to all of a sudden love that.
Three Ninjas. Yeah. Perfect example, Three Ninjas. I used to love Three Ninjas. I haven't seen it in a long time. I bet it is.
What? Watching it. I still love that movie. Still watch that movie. Hey, but I loved it as a kid. Loved it as a kid.
I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2. It's not a good movie objectively, but I love it. I don't care. So that's where it's like
Rocky loves Emily. I could quote that movie so bad.
Yeah, like if you love it as a kid, good chance you'll still be able to appreciate it.
Yeah.
As a grown-up. Evan, what's kind of your take on the whole nostalgia thing, and then we'll get some scores.
I think you're right. I think something that does change it, if you actually have kids that might fall in love with an older movie that you might have not liked, and then you fall in love with it. For instance, this is me. And I was a little bit older. Star Wars, the prequels. I did not like them. I did not like them at all. They were just, they were okay. But I watched them because I'm going to be honest, Natalie Portman. I had a fat crush, so I owned them all. But watching them when my son, who was like 6 or 7 at the time, and watching him get excited, watching him fall in love with these movies, I now enjoy watching those movies. I can watch them on my own and enjoy that time because I do it. And that even goes with the sequels. Because I'm watching them with my 10-year-old, like The Last Rise of Skywalker, and I know the flaws of it. I have such good memories with it. My son loved it, and we had a good time with it. I got to enjoy that. So I think that could help change some movies like I didn't love or didn't like as a kid, because like my wife shows it to Jacob or my son and shows, and then he loves it. There's been a couple other movies like that I've liked. I used to not ever like, and then I do because of watching your kids enjoy it.
So, needless to say, when it comes to nostalgia, there's a lot of factors that will determine.
There's mucho.
Yes, if something there's times you'll watch a movie you hated and you'll now love. There's times you'll watch something you loved and now you don't like it, and a lot of times, it's gonna be things you loved and you still love. Just because it's ingrained in you. That's
you
what
can't
you can't
watching. Let it go.
You can't escape it. So that being said, let's give this some scores. I'm interested to hear your guys' score. I give this movie an 8. I like it. I even with that second half kind of being less interesting, I think it finishes strong. I really like the very end of the movie. It's just that 30-40 minutes, but I love the beginning of the movie. And again, I do have a lot of nostalgia. So I give it an 8 out of 10. Evan, what did you give it?
I originally was giving it a 6, but we figured out I gave it an extra point. That's a 7.
That's right. You get the 1 point for figuring out the hard thing. Alex, what do you got?
All right, so it's really interesting because when going into this, I was like, okay, this is going to be a solid 3 out of 10. No, actually, when I finished the movie, I gave it a 5 out of 10. I think it's a good movie, and I had to give it in the middle. Because I think it's a solid, good, fun movie for those that enjoy this type of movie. But for myself, I just thought it was a good movie that I know. Maybe my kid. See, it's weird because I was watching it, my kids were around, and the only one that was like watching it was my baby. Like my Alana, she was just there, like she was like, boop, and she was just there watching it with me, and my other two.
She probably understood ET in English and her language. She was like going, "I know this, baby language. I know this person."
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's she's my movie goer. Like every time I watch a movie, she's there with me, like with her fingers in her mouth. While everyone runs around. But no, I think this is a solid 5 out of 10. And it looks like my rankings are starting to sheep up.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I have my running tally right now. I'm not gonna say where this is, but
no.
I'm liking doing the ranking as we go because it makes it a lot of fun. Now, I will say, as far as the rest of the filmography, we have 3 more movies that I would say are legitimately kids / family movies. So, yeah, this one was the really like the first main one. Hook will be the next kind of, that's a family movie.
I have not seen Hook since the 4K. And I'm dying to see it now because Evan said something about kids watching it. And my son Gavin loves Captain Hook.
He loves Pirate. And he loves Pirates.
And he never seen Hook. So I want to see what he thinks of a real life Captain.
About to give it a 10 out of 10, baby. 10 out of 10. Yeah, so you have Hook, and then you have the Adventures of Tintin, which is an animated film.
Never seen that. Okay.
And then the BFG, which was his first movie with Disney. So 3, those are the last 3 that are like, I would say, lean towards kids.
The Adventures of Tintin was with Jackson?
Peter Jackson was a producer.
Peter Jackson.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 3 movies. Spielberg was supposed to direct the first. Peter Jackson was supposed to direct the third. And this guy named Joe Cornish was supposed to direct the third. Or Jackson the second and that guy the third. But they never made another one after the first. So it was just the one that Spielberg did. But Jackson is a producer. And I think Cornish is a writer and a producer on it as well. So it was supposed to be this little thing that the 3 of them were going to do. It's actually kind of a cool movie. I'm actually looking forward to doing that. His only animated movie in the whole thing. So anyway, we still got a few more of these. I would like to see when we get to them, how they compare to E.T. Like, where do you put it compared to E.T. being like, as a kid's movie? We'll see. Anyway, next up will be the 1984 film that Alex, I know, is chomping at the bit to do on this show. A little bit of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So we're going from kids to dark. Really
mad dark.
Still BG though. Same rating. Let's just make that clear. Same rating.
Same rating. Very different tone as far as these 2 movies. So one of these gave children hopes and dreams, and the other nightmares.
Crushed him.
So, that's what we got coming up next Friday. When you're watching this one, that'll be up next Friday. Of course, if you are enjoying these videos, make sure you give us a thumbs up down below. Leave us a comment on your thoughts on E.T. Do you like this movie as much as me? Are you kind of indifferent towards it, or do you hate it? I want to know. And if you like the ride at Universal Studios, I want to know if you like the ride. Because, by the way, fun fact about that ride. Steven Spielberg said they never did a sequel to E.T., obviously. He said that ride is essentially the sequel to E.T., the second part of the ride, because you go to E.T.'s home planet. So if he had made a sequel, that would have been what they were going to do. It would have been...
Did E.T. have a cartoon? Didn't he have a cartoon too?
I don't know.
I know he was in... I know E.T.'s race was in Star Wars Episode 3.
Yes. And this had the cameo from that kid dressed up as Yoda.
Of course, he went home.
I love that part. He starts walking towards him.
Yeah, because he knows it.
Like, the Halloween part has all the funniest lines. Like when the mom's like, "You guys look great." And they're like, "Thank you. Thank you." And he's like, "Thank you." Or when they're in the bathroom and you just hear her yelling, "You're not going out as a terrorist." When the kid wanted to dress as a terrorist for Halloween. Great lines, funny parts. All right, anyway, that is the show. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Until next time, be awesome to each other and geek out.